thought to ask myself this: are you prepared? Something's falling for you inside your head. Me, creeping up now, take you underneath ground.
Paranormal After Dark with the Roadie.
Yes, back for another season of Paranormal After Dark with the Roadie, Season 3. And of course that was the intro tune from Christchurch's Sins of Eve, Creeping. And kicking things off for this season is a friend of the show, Mark Wallbank from Paranormal New Zealand. Mark, it's good to have you on the show again, my friend. Happy New Year and all that stuff.
Happy New Year back to you.
No worries.
Always good to be out.
Another year around the sun.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you've written this new book about South Island hauntings and stuff. And, you know, always intriguing to hear the different stories of the different locations. And some of them that you had in there I'd never heard of. So is there any interesting, fascinating ones there that you can... The ones that kind of intrigue you, that you think there might be something to? Because we all know a lot of haunting stories, there's nothing to them, or, you know, it's fairly scant. But is there anything interesting in there that's sort of possibly unexplainable, or...
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of them are unexplainable at this stage, because, I mean, I wasn't there, so
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
see it, so I have to take the word of the people that are telling me the stories. But the cases that I'm more curious about are the more outdoorsy ones. I quite like the ones out in the forest, or out at a beach, or out in, you know, in the at some old camper's hut, or just sort of more outdoorsy, out in the weather type situations. You know, ghosts seen walking down the street. You know, things like that.
Yeah, that kind of fascinates me as well, because I've always heard, you know, you always hear stories of people saying, oh, this is haunted, that's haunted. But if we just for a moment assume that the spirit world exists, there is another side, right? And we're going to say it's, as most people think it is, right? Then why aren't ghosts wandering around the street? Why aren't they walking down the street at night, you know? It's like, yeah, interesting. Yeah, so what's in there anyway that's sort of tickles your fancy, I guess?
Oh, I mean, it's basically just, just hearing these stories from people. When it's almost like it's almost like a breadcrumb trail, where you start talking to one person about a location that they know about, or that they are an owner of, and they start telling you about other locations, and they'll say, hey, have you heard about this location? And I'm like, well, no. And so they start telling you about this. So then I'll contact the owners of that location, and they'll tell us about some other location somewhere, or maybe a forest that's nearby that's allegedly haunted, or some other story of some young girl that's been spotted on the roads, or something like that.
So these ones on the roads and forests, there'll be multiple stories, multiple witnesses. Are they all pretty much the same, or do they vary a lot? You know, like say for one particular event, if there's a ghost in a forest, are you hearing the same story, or are you hearing quite different descriptions?
There are similarities. I mean, a lot of them are sort of like gold miners seen walking along the side of the road, and it'll be on a long strip of road that with no houses, nothing there, just an isolated strip of road in a deep forest, and people will drive past what they claim to be a gold miner with a hat on and a satchel, and you know, the leather satchel and the boots and all the works. And they're just roaming the roads, and so they'll turn around to go and see if he wants a lift, and he'll be gone. They're also like hitchhikers. People have passed hitchhikers, and then they turn around, and there's no hitchhiker there.
Well, have you had any people say they've picked up a hitchhiker and then the hitchhiker disappears in the car? I've seen that. I've heard it.
Yeah, I've heard stories about that. Yeah. Also, things like lights down roads. So I've got one story that with this. Lights that have been seen down this isolated desert sort of road, and they sort of chase cars.
Oh, okay.
So that was quite an interesting one.
Okay.
And then there's the Otira Tunnel in the Arthur's Pass.
Oh, right, of course. Yep.
An old worker that's seen in the tunnels, and he's meant to be a friendly Scottishman that's sort of seen there, and he apparently just talks to people and just wanders around with a big smile on his face.
Wow.
Look like he's looking for an exit, but he can't find it. He's a bit lost.
This is the whole thing that intrigues me about the so-called spirit world. Like, you know me, and I'm a Star Trek fan, and there's been episodes, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, where they have parallel universes, and I often wonder if you're seeing someone walk down the road, and this is what really makes me think they're walking down the road, but are they in our universe or are they in another universe, and the two universes just happen to converge at that time, and that's why you see them, and it's kind of like, so like for example when you see particularly some of the more credible teams on YouTube, when they're in a house and they're doing an investigation or whatever, and they're calling out, and they're in this house that, this is what amazes me about these UK ones, these houses that have got everything left in them, if there's a spirit there, is that spirit sitting there in 1986 watching TV? You know what I mean? And hearing them, it's like, whoa, this is perhaps this is why you can't get any kind of tangible, concrete evidence of the paranormal, because it's just when there was a particular episode of Deep Space Nine where the universes converged for a few seconds, took one of them into the other universe, and for a period of time they were in that universe walking down the boardwalk, seeing all their friends, but not being able to, and then of course it all resolved itself. Star Trek always does, but is that why just at a particular moment universes converge and then bang, it just it's.
I mean, and do these apparitions know that they're dead? I mean, are they dead? Are they alive?
Well, that's the thing.
Really alive in a parallel dimension? We just don't know.
That's exactly it. That's the most intriguing.
I mean, there have been a lot of stories, a lot of cases where there's been apparent interactions with spirits or ghosts. They don't seem to be aware that they're dead.
Yeah.
They seem confused, like they seem more confused about why these people are in their house, and and that kind of situation where they're a bit more confused and befuddled, and they just sort of can't figure things out. And
well, you can kind of see that, like if you see some of these ghost teams, like Paul and Mark from Ghosts on Trend, who are in a house and they get nothing, or they think they hear a noise but they're not sure. Imagine if you're in that house and you're in 1953 and there's these two dudes wandering around, and you can see them, or you can hear them, perhaps you can hear them like they can hear, and you're thinking, holy crap, it's a ghost. It's like, I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to do anything, it's just it's really you do have to wonder actually if that's what it is and that's what we're chasing, but who knows? I mean,
what about old locations, like abandoned locations that have squatters in them? If there's a ghost in there, what's he thinking about these squatters coming into his house and sleeping there and taking over? I mean, how would you handle that if you were a ghost?
Well, that's exactly it. If you can see, or perhaps hear, even if you can only hear, you're in your lounge and you can hear this dude snoring or talking. What the hell? It's like See, there was one of and I can't remember who it was. It might have been the Ouija brothers. I was watching one night where they were talking to a person in a castle. They were taking them around the castle, telling them, and they asked them to tell the stories about them. And this guy, of course, as they do, I turned the corner one day and I saw this apparition of a man from the Tudor times. But the thing that intrigued me about this, it wasn't just I saw the apparition. He said, I came around the corner and the apparition stopped and looked totally shocked. And then he just disappeared, and I thought, what if that guy is in Tudor times and he's walking along and here's a dude dressed, what's going on? And then he's like running back telling all the Tudors, I just saw a ghost, It's pretty...
I know. It must be so confusing for them. I can imagine... I mean, that's what I was thinking about my old grandmother. I mentioned it in one of my earlier books about my grandmother, because she was quite influential with what I do. And, she was hopeless with technology.
Yep.
She was hopeless. She couldn't even operate a VHS. I because she stayed at home by herself during the daytime. I went out and I hired. This is before I could afford to do it. I went out and rented her a VHS recorder,
right,
for the house, so she could watch movies. And she had no idea how to push play, and how to push stop and rewind and all that. She was hopeless. She just couldn't do any of that. And I thought, if she's a ghost now, I mean, she promised that she would look out for me.
Yeah.
In heaven, she sort of entertained my eccentricities and the things that I'm into. But no, she said that if when I'm dead, I'll come and talk to you.
And has she ever? That you know of?
That I know of.
No,
I don't know.
No.
And I'm thinking, does she just not know how to? I mean, can she see me? And she's trying to, but I'm just not receiving it. I don't know. And I think it's those sort of questions you just won't know until you die yourself.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing that gets me is there's the famous case of Harry Houdini, who said that when he died, he would get hold of his wife, who went to seances for years and never heard a thing, or supposedly never heard a thing. Or one of my broadcasting heroes, Art Bell, who a broadcaster and into the paranormal and did say on one of his shows that I've heard that, hey, when I do pass on, I'm going to make damn sure that I can come through, and as far as I know, I've never heard any reports that Art Bell's come through, and he's the sort of guy that you would think, and Houdini, that you would think if they were able to come through, they would come through.
But maybe that's his voice coming through spirit boxes.
Don't get me started on spirit boxes, man. Don't get me started.
Maybe. Maybe somehow the voice gets distorted.
I had to explain to one of the UK teams. I won't mention what team. It's one of the newer ones. They were going on about this radio they had that we've detuned it and we've taken the aerial out of it. And I said, no, you haven't. I said that inside those radios there's still a little magnet with wire wrapped around it for the AM aerial. So even if you put it on AM and you put it on scan, you're still going to pick up things on AM. Oh, but we've detuned it. I said, explain to me how you detune a transistor radio. We took the aerial out. No, you don't. You have to physically take components out of it to detune it, right? I don't. Yeah, spirit box. I'm not. I'd like to think that it's possible, but again, you talked about your grandmother technology. If you were sitting there saying, I've got this cell phone here with this app on and you can talk to me through it, if again we say that the spirit world is in fact the spirit world as most people think of it, right, and she's a ghost, she's going to go, what's a cell phone and how do I make it work?
Yeah.
Right? Or touch that antenna, and the guy from Tudor Times is going, what's an antenna? It's like...
And make the K2 turn red.
Yeah, exactly. K2? What's a K2?
What does that mean?
Well, see, the other thing that gets me is talking about those ancient times.
Yeah.
Is especially those UK teams. They go into houses that are bloody, got a lot of history. They're old, and I'm sitting there watching these people call out, and I'm thinking, even if you go with the spirit theory or my theory of it's another dimension or another time, perhaps another time, right? The language you're speaking, English itself, has evolved even since Tudor times, and you're talking away in modern English. They're looking at you going, what the hell are you saying? It might be just completely, someone's speaking in tongues to me. It's like...
But what if the spirit realm comes with a built-in translator?
Well,
you can phone, can't you? On your phone.
That's exactly what I actually said to one of them. I said, you've got all these apps, right, that supposedly put out words. Why don't someone make an app that you can speak into it and go, hello, my name's Mark, and it comes out in like Tudor English. My name is Mark, and then perhaps you might get something back. I mean,
maybe. That's right.
It's intriguing. I'm talking to Mark Wallbank, Paranormal New Zealand here, and we're just talking about his book and things in general in the paranormal. We'll be right back after this. Another song from the band that did the intro, Sins of Eve from Christchurch. This one called Departed.
Paranormal After Dark with the Roadie.
This is Paranormal After Dark with the Roadie. I'm joined by Mark Wallbank from Paranormal New Zealand. What else is in that book besides the Otira Tunnel that might be interesting? You're talking about ghosts on the road and stuff.
I've covered so much. I've covered a lot of area, a lot of places I've never even heard of, and a lot of places I've never been to. Basically, it's become a travel guide now for myself as well, because just talking to the owners of these places, they're quite excited to sort of meet me now. They want me to, if you're ever down in Invercargill, and there were so many from Invercargill and Dunedin and Christchurch, and it was actually a real learning experience for me. It was brilliant.
So what one's in Invercargill? Because there's a long history there. There must be some interesting, just, you don't have to tell me the details, but just any interesting sort of stories. Any theatre ghosts? You know I'm a theatre man. Any theatre ghosts?
Oh, yeah. Well, Invercargill, what have we got here? Quite a few hotel ghosts. Like there's the Civic Theatre and the old Demolition World and the old Stratton Hotel that's no longer there.
Yep.
That had some stories. The Nichols Garden Centre, the one I actually visited that one a few years back. I went and talked to the owner there, and she was very into it. She was very interesting.
Okay.
Now you got things like Buster Crab, which was an old place. There, it's no longer there.
Right.
What else was there? There's Kelvin Hotel, which is no longer there. Seaward Bush Park, and there's Anderson Park. There's a few parks in Invercargill that are known to have all sorts of things with red-eyed creatures and. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, the outdoors thing. I'm into that. The outdoors spirit. Why wouldn't there be spirits outdoors?
And just like, even if someone builds a house, you see it in the horror films. Oh, we build a house on an ancient Indian burial ground, and I know we laugh about that sort of story. But what's to say that some hauntings aren't, in fact, that someone's just built a house on a thing that has spirits on? it's kind of walking around, It
seems amazing that a lot of the stories I've been hearing, especially the outdoorsy ones, where the spirits are just walking along. They're just walking aimlessly. It's one in Invercargill that was the where was that one? That was the it's on East Road in Invercargill, and there's a woman in white that's just seen walking the roads, and it's right next to a cemetery.
Okay.
So there's a big cemetery there.
Yeah.
And she's just seen on the road outside the cemetery, just walking along. Butcher's Gully. All sorts. There's characters there. It's just scattered. It's just little stories, little localized stories that you don't sort of widely hear about. You don't sort of hear about them on the internet. That's only when you sort of talk to the locals. That's when you hear the stories.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you've got to do, is often just talk to locals, eh?
I'm travelling around. I'll go into the petrol station to fuel up, on the hire car, and I'll talk to the petrol pump attendant, and I'll say, well, have you heard of any ghost stories around here? I'm travelling around, and they'll go, whoa. There's a story about this house down the road. And they'll start telling you about a house or a cemetery or some hotel.
I want to just stop you there for a second. Cemeteries. See, I don't. I struggle with that as well. I struggle with that as much as I struggle with spirit boxes. Right? Like, why would the spirit be in the cemetery? Like, surely, if you're gonna go to the other realm, your body's in the ground in the cemetery where your ashes are, why the hell do you want to hang around the body in the cemetery? Wouldn't you want to go somewhere that you liked being, or...
maybe there are rules. Maybe in certain circumstances you can't leave the body. Maybe the body, you have to stay where the body is.
That's true. Could be.
Maybe you're limited to what you're able to do. Maybe some can travel. Maybe some are just stuck to their body, and they can only move a certain area and keep in proximity with their body.
It's a great debate to have. It is interesting, but those ones on the road and even like I haven't heard any about Port Chalmers, but when I worked in Littleton many years ago, there was stories of, and this is from guys who worked on the wharf for 40 years, and they knew some of these people, guys who had died in industrial accidents on the wharf or on ships, and there was one particular story there where when a ship came on, whenever there was a ship on this certain dock, this guy, that two of them were so bloody old they were still there, knew, they claimed to have seen him on the he was what they called a hatchman. He'd work on the hatch. They'd see him on the hatch. There's I can't remember his name. We say Charlie. Charlie's leaning over working on that, and then they'd turn around and say, hey, look, there's Charlie, and he's gone. Right. Whether his energy was just on that wharf or, it's just, Yeah.
And Port Chalmers is quite an amazing
Yeah.
place, really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it is.
I spent quite a bit of time just walking around. Because I investigated the Chicks Hotel. It was so good to finally. I mean, it was a bit better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, I never got to go to it when it was a music venue.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
I kind of missed out on that era of the venue. But so I got to see it, and it's kind of run down, derelict sort of state. I mean, is it still there now? Or
Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. I haven't been in for a long time. I haven't been in since it was a live venue either, really. But it's that's the other thing that intrigues me. Hotels, why they seem to be like quite not a hotbed, but quite common area for people or spirits to haunt. You know, it is weird that maybe it's because there's a lot of energy there, a lot of people spend time there. Yeah.
It's an area that a lot of people come and go through, and there's a lot of energy, lots of positive and negative, a lot of highs and lows, and plus the venues themselves have a lot of electrical equipment in them as well.
Yeah.
You've got everything from security alarms to all the PA equipment and stuff that bands would use. The fridges and freezers, they're the huge high EMF on fridges and freezers.
Do you think that a lot of the EMF creates the illusion of what some people think is spirits that they see?
Quite possibly. I mean, because EMF does sort of induce sort of feelings of nausea and dizziness and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And those are sort of characteristics that are often attributed to sort of a haunting or a possession or something like that. So I mean, I've been affected myself by EMF sickness myself.
Yeah.
And it was only briefly, but I felt it, and I can feel what high EMF fields can do to you. Yeah. And it's not good, but it's only temporary, but still it's what's going on? What's going on?
Exactly. I'm sitting in a room with an FM transmitter here that's probably putting EMF out at me.
Yeah.
But no, that is interesting because, that's why I'm always interested in people when they talk about hauntings of theatres, right? Like, you see people with these EMF meters, and I mean, I've worked in a lot of theatres and venues around the country and overseas, and they're full of anything with EMF. Even when it's turned off, it's got EMF, and oh look, I've got something on the EMF meter, it's triggering these or it's triggering our LEDs, and I sit there and I go, yeah, maybe, mate, but there's always a lot of electricity around places like that. To me, it's
wiring under the stage is wiring right directly above you in the lighting rigs.
Exactly. Theatre ghosts, to me, the more intriguing ones to me are the ones that people have claimed to have seen something or heard something. That's probably more unlikely to be EMF, as it were, than unless they're hallucinating, of course, from EMF. You know what I mean? But the EMF thing is another thing that I have a bit of a bugbear with, because they're walking around going, there's electrical stuff all around. It's like the local cell phone tower can cause EMF.
Yes,
definitely. So it's very interesting. Right, I'm with Mark Wallbank here on Paranormal After Dark, the new season, and we'll be right back with Mark.
Dark with the Roadie.
That's me, the Roadie. I'm here, and I'm with Mark from Paranormal New Zealand. And that song was from Blackjack, New Zealand Metal Legends from Hamilton, and one called Fairyland. The other thing that I'm interested in, just your thoughts on what you think's going on, because I've followed it fleetingly. Sam's probably the guy to talk to, and Peter Hassel, which I want to get a round table together with these guys and have a bit of a chat. Yeah. Now that I know my new system's working here. These drones overseas, what do you reckon's going on? Because I kind of equate this to the airships things from the early 20th century. It's kind of, you know what I'm saying? It seems to be a similarity where people are seeing the same thing in mass all over the place, and it's not explained.
Well, I mean, it's been predicted for many, many years, isn't it? I mean, over a couple of decades, they were planning a big fake UFO invasion, weren't they?
Okay.
It's been in discussion for many, many years. It was in the planning to a certain date, which I'm guessing is 2025. You know, where there'd be fake mass invasion of UFOs, and it'll be all part of some agenda, which I'm not too sure what the agenda might be. That sort of goes into a lot of conspiracy theories.
I've never heard this one, so why do they want to fake it?
Well, maybe it's to cover up something. I don't believe all these drone type vehicles that have been seen buzzing around the skies. I believe they're just that, drones.
Yeah, I do.
Who's controlling them? I don't know.
Well, as much as I'm a Fox Mulder, I want to believe, right? I love the UFOs thing. But yeah, like I'm inclined to think it's a US Black Ops thing, because, hear me out, the thing that bugs me, and some of the things that I've heard was, they were seen over military bases or military installations, and the US is sitting there going, there's nothing to worry about, don't worry. Are you telling me that you just let some dude fly a drone over your bloody military base and you're not worried about it? I mean, come on. If that's, there was one senator apparently said it was bloody Iranians. Are you telling me that you're letting Iranians fly drones over your air bases? I mean, come on.
Yeah. I definitely believe they're man-made drones. Yeah, they'd be military drones, because they seem to be quite large. They're not like sort of domestic drones that you could buy from JCar and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they've got to be not basic.
But it's got to be either US or friendly to the US, because if it was genuinely an Iran or a China or something, are you telling me they're just going to all sit there and go, don't scramble the jets, let's just let them look at us? I mean, come on.
Yeah. And there just seems to be too many. They seem to be scattered all over the world. This is worldwide at the moment. And you've got big clusters of these lights in the sky that are buzzing around.
Yeah.
And people that fly drones say, well, it flies like a drone. The official statements out there are saying, well, no, they're not drones. To me, it screams of some sort of hoax. It's some sort of hoax cover-up.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know, but it seems like it's been planned. Look at these exhibitions. Look at these big demonstrations they have, where they have like thousands of drones, and they do these big animated characters in the sky, and they have like hundreds and hundreds of drones all doing these computerized, all totally synced up by a computer, doing all these amazing patterns in the sky.
I know, that's just what I was going to say. People are saying, they can't fly in formation. Yeah, they can, because they've done them at things like Olympics and Commonwealth Games, and they've done it. It's like, it is weird.
You sync up hundreds of them to move at the same time, in the same...
That's right, exactly. But why? That's the big question, is why? And then, as I say, I correlate it back to the airship sightings. Again, so what was going on in the airship sightings? Was that exactly the same thing? Somebody was experimenting with something, and because again, it was the similar situation where there was mass sightings, similar sightings, and it went on for a long, and no one ever sort of came out with a logical explanation, But it's kind of weird.
It's certainly causing a distraction, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's
distracting people.
That's right. They're distracting for some reason. That's right. There's something going on, and but the whole UAP thing that's these hearings I've had and all that recently, and even going back to this David Grush whistleblower, and I've had debates with people about him particularly, and it all bugs me. It all smells like a setup, because here's a guy sitting there that the UFO community is supposedly saying, this guy's a whistleblower, but all he's sitting there saying is, I was told, right? Or someone said that they read. Well, I mean, that, like if you went to court and said, I was told that Mark took a poo on John Key's doorstep, They're going to go, well, you've got no proof, have you? So what do you mean? But he's put up there as this credible, I was told. Did you see something? No, but someone told me when I interviewed them that this happened. Well, even the government is saying, oh, no, he's credible. And it makes me think that it's some sort of smokescreen, like, I don't know. Even
just because you're swearing on an oath doesn't mean you're telling the truth.
No.
Does it?
No, because, I could go into court tomorrow, right, and swear on the Bible. But guess what? I'm not a Christian. I don't care, right? It's like, it's quite, the whole going back to that Lou Elizondo. I still think there's something weird there. There's all these sudden whistleblowers that are coming out that have been able to. Well, I've got this top secret level, but I can say this and I can say this, but I can't say this. Well, why all of a sudden are the government letting these people say X, Y, Z? When in the past, if anyone supposedly came out who was legit, they disappeared or they were killed or, committed suicide. These guys are suddenly allowed to say things. I mean, it doesn't make any. It's like you say, they're trying to give the impression that something's going on, but I think you're right. It's a smokescreen for something else.
Well, I mean, basically, the military, the government, and whoever these dark, the dark sort of leveled post, above the government type layers that are out there doing these things. They would, if they've got the power to go beyond the government, to go above, higher, top secret, higher than the government can actually, and if prime ministers and presidents don't have the authority to actually get the information that they want, if they're above all that, then they've got the power to just eliminate anybody that gets in their way.
Exactly, that's exactly it.
Let some guy sit in front of 100 TV cameras and tell the world these secrets.
But see, that's where I think David Grush was clever. I was told that. I interviewed someone who said he saw, or he read. He didn't actually say that I saw it. He said I was told. So he can sit there and go, oh, sorry, dudes. Hey, it's just some guy told me. Mark told me. It's definitely a weird situation there. But I can't. I'm like you. I can't work out what the smokescreen is.
I'm guessing a lot of these UAPs that are being seen, especially the ones coming out of the ocean and stuff like that, I believe that is secret military technology that is the ones that are seen coming out of the ocean and that sort of stuff. But then what they're doing is they're planting all these videos now of fake drone footage all around the world so that the majority of people, because we know how dumb people are in general in the public, the media tells them something, social media tells them something, they'll believe it. And you've got this mass belief in something that isn't even true. And so if the media's out there pumping all these videos of just what look like drones, basic drones, people are going to go, oh no, they're just drones. So when somebody comes through and says, we saw one coming out of the ocean, people are like, oh no, they're just those drones.
I agree with you. And you see, going back to the ones that those Navy pilots supposedly saw too, you just touched on it earlier. These black programs are so secret, like the CIA doesn't know what the NIA is doing or what the DIA is doing, or do you really think they're going to tell the military? If the DIA's got some sort of secret thing, they say, let's just buzz the Navy and see what they do and see how it performs against them. We're not going to tell the Navy we're doing it, And so the Navy pilot's genuinely sitting there going, this is what I saw and this is what it did, and it did, but he doesn't, and he genuinely doesn't know. So the other part for me that's weird is Artemis. We were going back to the moon a couple of years ago. They sent that ship around the moon, all excited. Then suddenly all this stuff has happened, and now it's, Artemis has been delayed for a year. It's been delayed for a year. What's going on? Why? Likewise, the shuttle program. We had these space shuttles that were state-of-the-art, and they spent, the best part of 30 years just orbiting around the Earth, dropping satellites up, often picking them up. We didn't. You're telling me that one of them couldn't have gone out and around the moon and come back? The technology was far greater than Apollo ever was. And
when we apparently we can't go back to the moon because we lost all the documents and all the schematics from those earlier ones, didn't we? They suddenly got lost or somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Somehow we can go into Mars.
Yeah.
So we're going to Mars now, which is even further away than the moon.
I know.
So we can't go to the moon. People are questioning, why don't we go back to the moon? Oh, well, we can't. We haven't got the technology anymore to do that. Yet somehow we're going to Mars.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And also the other thing that intrigued me was a couple of years ago, I don't know if you saw it, because it sort of flashed up on the news and on the web briefly and then disappeared. The US military space shuttle came back to Earth, that it had allegedly been in orbit for a couple of years unmanned. And I thought, okay, so it's come back to Earth. Was it really unmanned? Where was it, and what was it doing? Because we never heard it was in orbit. And where has it gone since? So there is quite possibly a secret space program going on that we know nothing about. And I'm not saying it's, like all this conspiracy stuff about bloody reptilians and all that rubbish, but there's obviously something going on. The moon interests me, and I don't buy into the thing that we never went there. I'm pretty sure we went there, because if the Yanks hadn't have got there, do you think the Soviet Union would have kept it quiet? The Soviet Union would have been screaming from the treetops they never went, because they were tracking it all, right? So they definitely went. But why China hasn't landed a man, India hasn't landed a man, they've clearly got the technology to send stuff there. Why Russia hasn't ever gone back, it's kind of weird.
I have questions about the rovers that they send up.
Yeah.
You've got these rovers up there that were sent up many, many years ago, and they're still going. They haven't been serviced.
No.
They're still going somehow. All that dust, and yet nothing's clogged up. There's nothing on the lenses. And have you noticed how the footage that's coming back seems to be getting clearer and clearer every year?
That's
it's
right.
Like it's gone beyond 4K quality now. It's like 8K super broadcast quality.
So something's going on.
That's coming back from Mars. Think back to the early days when we had all this imagery coming back from Mars, and it was just all red and it was grainy, and it was just, now it's crystal clear where you can see grains of sand and everything. Yeah. And these rovers have been apparently crossing across Mars and the moon for many, 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 many years. Any servicing or
it does make you wonder, and I mean, it's quite possible that there is some sort of secret space program going on the moon. I don't know if it's military or it's industrial or whatever, but the place will be rife with minerals. But I mean, as a kid, I was right into Apollo, and I was looking forward. The space. I used to stay up and watch the space shuttle launches, and then go to school and fall asleep, because they delayed the damn thing or whatever. And I was like, yes, we'll be. By the time I'm like 40, we'll have gone to Mars, or we'll be back on the moon with a moon base. And how disappointed have I been?
Yeah. Just make friends with Elon Musk, and you'll get up there someday.
Oh, jeez. Well,
So he has a few beers and just jumps up there, doesn't he?
Yeah, apparently.
Give that for a laugh.
It does make me wonder what they're doing, and likewise going back to the old airships in the early 20th century. That now that you see this drone thing, and you hear about that, it makes you wonder if that wasn't covering something up. What it was covering up, I don't know, but it's certainly an interesting. Yeah.
Lots of questions.
Oh, I always have questions, mate. You know.
Yeah. A lot of unanswered questions.
I know. That was Mark Wallbank, Paranormal New Zealand. Thanks a lot, Mark, and we'll catch you down the track. This has been Paranormal After Dark with the Roadie. I'll see you next time. Here's Wellington Band, Mr. Unit, with one to take it out called Satan. Keyed my Morris Minor.
Paranormal After Dark with the Roadie.